Is winter really getting you down and you'd love a little touch of spring? I think I have it for you here with my chicken with lemon caper sauce. This is delicious and very reminiscent of spring, and you can serve it up in a number of ways. So if you'd like to know how this is done, stick around because it's coming up next. Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Roy. I am a home cook and amateur baker, and I am here on this channel sharing recipes that have helped me to lose over 125 pounds, whether those recipes are mine or someone else's. Now today is going to be one of mine. This is for chicken with lemon caper sauce, and I am going to be serving it with pasta. You can serve it with rice, you could serve it with veggies, you could serve it however you like. I am also going to make a couple of additions that are not part of the recipe on the blog and will not be calculated into the macros. They won't affect the bites or points, but just so you know. So for the ingredients, we're going to need 4 chicken breasts. Now, my chicken breasts are rather large, so I cut them in half through the middle so that I could get basically cutlets. So if you want to just pick up cutlets, you can. If you want to just cut your breast into cutlets, you can. If they're small breasts, you don't have to worry about it. But most breasts these days seem to be quite large. So I suggest cutting them in half, as I did here, to make them into cutlets. It just cooks a little quicker, also saves you a little money. I also have 1 cup of chicken broth. I have like a bunch of broccoli. I didn't count how much there is there. I just cut up some to add in. This is not part of the recipe, although I do mention it in the notes that this is a possibility. You could add any type of vegetables that you want. You could put in some frozen peas, some spinach, whatever you feel like having. I also have 2 tablespoons roughly of fresh lemon juice, which is the juice of half a lemon. 1 lemon typically gives between 3 and 4 tablespoons of juice. I just did half a lemon. You could just do the bottled stuff if that's what you have on hand, which I usually do, but I happen to have a lemon. I have 2 tablespoons of capers here. Now capers, if you've ever had puttanesca or piccata, you've likely had capers. Capers are the little flower buds of a bush, and they are dried and preserved. They kind of have a little floral note, but also a little brininess like an olive. If you wanted, you could probably, and I don't know this for sure, but I don't see why it would be a problem, you could probably mince up some olives to equal 2 tablespoons. That would probably go just as well, quite frankly. But I enjoy having the capers. I also have 1 tablespoon of fresh parsley. I have the zest of 1 lemon. That is another addition that is not part of the recipe. But I figured since I was using a fresh lemon for the juice, I might as well take some of the zest and really up that lemon flavor. This one's going to shock you people. Be prepared. 2 teaspoons of olive oil. I am not using cooking spray. I am using actual oil, because here I have a 1/4 cup of flour, because we are going to dust the chicken breasts with it. And the 2 didn't really up the bites or points much, so I didn't see any harm with using actual oil, because we do want to get a little fry on them, a little bit of color. So, shocker, I know, but I am using actual olive oil. And as I said, I have a 1/4 cup of flour, and then I have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And of course, our 2 chicken breasts that have become 4 chicken breast cutlets. I also have, this is what I'm going to be serving it with, the Fiber Gourmet Light Linguine. Now, I did want to mention something. I went on the Fiber Gourmet site because they sent me an email showing that they had pastas that were being made in Italy now. And I went and checked their site. Two of them, the ziti and the rotini, now come in a box. But whereas they were typically 100 calories a serving, they've now gone up to 110, which actually makes the bites go from 2 to 3. And that's only if you get the new packaged in a box that's 110 calories. Quite frankly, even when I get those, I am not counting those 10 calories as a bite. Sorry, I am not doing it. I am still gonna keep it at 2 bites. 10 calories, You're not eating up one of my bites for 10 calories. If you wanna keep it as however it scans, you feel free to do so. But I am giving you permission. Yeah, you don't need my permission. But I am telling you, I am not counting those 10 calories for a bite. No, sir. So whenever I get the new package, I'm still counting it as 2 bites. Of course, I will let you know if I use it on this channel, this information once again. But just figured I'd let you know while I was doing Fiber Gourmet, and since I had just been on their site and found this out. But anyways, this one is still 2 bites, but I'm going to be making that to go along with our chicken and now broccoli. All right, so let me just move a couple of things around and we will get these chicken breasts ready to go. Okay, so to coat our chicken breasts, what we're going to do is put the flour onto a plate along with the salt and the pepper, and we're just going to lightly whisk them together. Like I usually just swirl the fork around. I don't try to get too fancy. This and the oil do add a bite, but that's the only bite you're gonna get out of this whole thing. So I'm fine with using these 2 items for just 1 bite. There, I've told you my secret. The bites for this entire thing are just 1. All right, so now we're just going to take our chicken breasts and drop them into the flour, turn them around to get them coated, and then I usually pat, like you're diapering a little baby's bottom, a little bit, just to get some of the excess off. But like I said, we're counting this, might as well use it. I don't mind using it. So let me get these finished and then we will move on. Okay, so I did a double dip on these just to make sure they are fully covered. And what you could do if you really wanted to is measure how much flour is left on here. The salt and pepper in there wouldn't really affect the measurement that much. And then subtract that from the 1/4 cup. But as I said, this and the oil are only adding 1 bite, so I'm not gonna get that fussy about it. So let me wash off my hands, move a few things around, and we will move on. Okay, so I'm heating the oil, 2 teaspoons of olive oil, the shock ingredient. Let me turn down that water for now. I don't need it just yet. But I have the oil heating over here, and I think it's just hot enough to add in our chicken breasts. And I should be able to get them all in here together. So now these are going to cook for about 8 to 10 minutes. I'm gonna give them about 5 minutes on this side, flip them, and then give them another 5 minutes on the other side. So I will be back once they are ready. All right, so taking the chicken breasts out, they are nicely browned, but just lightly browned. You don't want to get too much color on them. So those are going to sit there for a moment. Now, because I'm using the broccoli, I'm going to add that in to the pan and just cook it in here for about 5 minutes to let it get a little color, let it get a little softer. And I've cut them into pretty small bite-sized pieces, so they will probably cook up fairly quickly. But I want to put the cover on this just to get some of that steam to stay in there and help to cook it. My pasta is done. I'm going to drain that and spray it with a little Pam just so it doesn't stick while it's sitting, although I haven't had much problem with Fiber Gourmet doing that, but just to be on the safe side. So I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay, so the broccoli is pretty well done. I'm going to strategically try to get these back into this bowl without spilling them all over the place. It'd be a miracle. Miracles happen every day, apparently. All right, so the broccoli is done. Now, if I wasn't using the broccoli, this would have been the next step. We're going to take our chicken broth and put it in the pan, and those little brown bits that are on the bottom of the pan, that's called fond, and it's the color from the chicken cooking, the caramelization, the Maillard reaction, and that is flavor. So we are very fond of fond. So you want to scrape up all of that beautiful fond because you want that to be part of your sauce. Because as I said, that's going to add a lot of flavor. Now, part of that is also some of the flour that was on the chicken. So it will also help somewhat to thicken our sauce. And we want to turn the heat up on this so that it can boil to help it reduce. So I'm turning it up from medium to like a medium high. We are going to give this about 3 to 4 minutes and let the broth reduce a little bit, and I will be back. Okay, so it's been about 4 minutes, lots of bubbles going on. I'm going to reduce this to medium low, and we're going to add the chicken back in to the pan. And I always put the thickest part of the chicken breast toward the center of the pan where it seems to get hottest. So, and any of this liquid, you want that back in the pan as well. Now we're going to cover this, and we're going to heat this through about 2 to 3 minutes, let that chicken get warmed up again, and I'll be right back. Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes. You can see that the sauce or broth at this point is reduced fairly well. So now I'm going to actually remove the chicken so it can finish the sauce. Try to make it look pretty. And I'm going to add in the lemon zest. Like I said, that's not part of the recipe, but it's really going to bump up that lemon flavor. The lemon juice and the capers. You stir that around and let that heat through. Now this doesn't have to cook much longer. This is just to warm all of that up. Definitely getting a hit of that lemon. And add in the parsley. Now you don't have to add the parsley in, you don't even have to use it, really. You can sprinkle it on top if you want to be fancy, if you were doing this for like a dinner. You had people coming over, you wanted to fancify everything. You could sprinkle that on top, but I am not usually that fancy, so I'm just throwing it in there. Get my spoon, and I'm going to, oh, I almost forgot to toss my broccoli in here. Nobody reminded me. I definitely need reminders. Okay, so the broccoli is in. Turn that heat off. And now I'm just going to spoon this over the chicken breast and make sure I get all those capers out because you want that delicious flavor there. And And while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to add my pasta to the pot just so any of that residual sauce can be grabbed up by the pasta, and it'll also help to warm it up a little bit more because it has been sitting for a few minutes. So let me clean this area up, and I'll be back to give you all those nutrition facts. Okay, so there you have it. I don't want to tilt the dish too much and have that sauce go flowing onto the counter, but there you have our chicken with lemon caper sauce and some broccoli and some pasta. The bites or points on this, I'm on the Healthi, or formerly I Track Bites, Better Balance plan, which is the equivalent to the old WW Blue plan. So this, for one chicken breast and about 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons of the sauce, is just one bite or Blue Point. Now, if you were following calories, it would be 189 calories, and again, that's without the broccoli or the lemon zest. I can't imagine that's going to up the calories or macros too much, but I did it just as the recipe on the blog states it. If you're following macros, the fat would be 5.4 grams, the carbs would be 6.8 grams, and again, that's not with the pasta, that's just the chicken and the sauce. And the protein would be 27.1 grams. So this is a really nice, refreshing chicken dish, especially if you were having some company over. It looks quite fancy. So I hope you will give this a try, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet and you are looking for recipes that can help you on a weight loss journey. Share my videos if you think there's someone out there who would be interested in this kind of content. And hit the notification bell for the next time I upload any sort of video. Also, comment down below if you are a fan of capers, if you're a fan of lemon, if you think you're going to give this one a try. It really is delicious. And in this midst of winter, it kind of adds a little touch of spring that I am really looking forward to. And if you're looking forward to it also, you can find this recipe on my blog. The link for that is down in the description box. Under this video, under the name of this channel, it'll say show more. Just tap that and it'll open up the description box. You can find all sorts of links and information there. One of those under the Interact with Me will be the blog, where you can find this and all of my recipes. There's also my Amazon storefront link, the Fetch Rewards, the Built Bars, and my social media. If you'd want to follow me over there, here is my Instagram handle. And there are 2 Facebook groups that I'm part of. One is mine, Recipes with Roy, and the other one is Finding Our Way, WEIGH. And that one I co-admin with Jennifer Lynn from the Jennifer Lynn channel, as well as Bree Coleman from Balancing Life with Bree. So join us over there. Lots of great tips, tricks, recipes, support, and people. So I think it's time for us to have a little dinner. I am really looking forward to this one. It's been a while. So until next time, bye.